The captain of Iran's women's soccer team has withdrawn her asylum bid in Australia, becoming the latest player to do so amid growing fears their families could face danger if they don't return home.
When you do break a contract as an athlete in Iran, you can face the death penalty. Coercion is being used here, intimidation, tactics. And we even had an individual amongst the girls within Sydney and Brisbane who was influencing them constantly in their ear, letting them know that whatever Australia is offering them, it will not work.
Our next guest is an international student from Iran studying at the University of Connecticut. She's been in the United States for the past 3 years, but her family and friends are still in Iran. Sadaf Zarei is calling for President Trump to finish the job so the Iranian people can be free. She joins us now. Sadaf, first off, put yourself in the position of the Iranian soccer players. What would you have done?
Morning, sir. I actually have a great deal of personal affinity with the soccer player with our lionesses. My best friend, an Iranian American, no less. Her name was Malika Mohammadi. She used to play for the team up until her tragic passing 2 years ago in a car accident in Iran. So through following Malika's journey, I got to get familiar with a lot of these girls. I got to know about their stories, their grit, their sheer will, and all the hurdles that they really face for only being girls who want to lace up their cleats and play the beautiful game in a country where it's 7th century zombie leaders do not have much regard or respect for women. I have no doubt that the reason why these ladies withdrew their bids from asylum from Australia had to do with threats, if not more serious actions, made against their families back home in Iran. And this is yet another example of hostage-taking conducted by a regime all too familiar for advancing its wicked agenda through that wicked policy. I really pray for them. I pray for their family and their safety. And I really hope that one day very soon we get to cheer them on in Azadi Stadium in Tehran. As you know, their games are not televised. There are no tickets sold for their matches simply because they're girls, and there are many restrictions they face in the way that they can appear on the field. For instance, they cannot not wear the hijab. They cannot have their arms or their legs shown, which is ludicrous for an athlete. So I really hope all that changes very soon. And this is all the more reason that we need to get the job done in Iran and once and for all get rid of the great hostage taker.
Right. So you're over here studying. You're able to communicate with your family back home. What are they telling you about conditions, and what are they telling you about the U.S. effort?
Well, as you know, it is extremely difficult to get in contact with people inside the country. The connectivity, internet connectivity remains an issue. Iranians have spent 1/3 of 2026 in absolute digital blackdown. The only way people can communicate is if they make the international phone calls, which are extremely costly. I was able to speak with about half a dozen family members and friends. The general consensus there is one of great appreciation for President Trump's decision to ultimately follow through on his promise of help to the Iranian patriots. And parallel to that, there is a degree of cautious optimism going on. And I use the word cautious because there were points of concerns that would get brought up very commonly and very often in my conversations with the people. The first concern, the nightmare scenario, whereby this military campaign concludes, but the regime remains in power. They fear that if that were to be the case, the regime is going to come much more heavy-handedly at their own people. And this is something with historical precedent. But every single time that they were able to somehow survive a conflict, they became much more lethal and aggressive towards their own citizens. And the second scenario is a case whereby the regime collapses, but the leadership ultimately remains at the hands of those who are currently involved with this criminal terrorist entity of the Islamic Republic. No person in this entity, involved with this entity, has a shred of credibility for the people. And that was the reason why many people that I spoke with, actually all of them unanimously, were very adamant about their support of the exiled Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi, to lead a form of transition to ensure there is not going to be a power vacuum and that maximum stability once the fall happens is ensured. I mean, you saw the videos of Iranian students in Iran's equivalent of MIT and Ivy League universities very unambiguously calling his name. And what's more notable about this is that the support is not just confined with that part of the Iranian society. I mean, you have the more conservative strata of the Iranian society, and by that I mean the historically influential Zarei merchant class. They have also been voicing their support for him, as well as faith leaders of minorities whose communities have been enduring utmost oppression, backing him.
Yeah, we'll see about the prince. But we know one thing: the people of Iran deserve a chance to pick their leaders, and not these zealot thugs. And
absolutely,
hopefully, you'll have the chance to do that. And you stay safe too, Sadaf. And best of luck to your UConn Huskies in the postseason. In the tournament,
Thank you,
men and women.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.